Hello, online pipe community. This is Ethan Parsimonious Piper, and I am together with Zach Sapper Piper today. Zach, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm I'm doing great. How's it going?
It is fantastic here. Tell me what you're smoking as we get started here.
I got myself some Colt Blood Red Moon and a Meerschaum Billiard.
And I am smoking my little Navajo pipe made by Aaron, Chronicles of a Pipe Maker, with some Briarworks Country Lawyer, another cigar blend in it. Fantastic stuff. Well, Zach, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, what you have done, as much or as little as you're comfortable letting us know, but tell us what makes you tick.
Not much makes me tick, but I was a combat engineer in the United States Army Reserve. I deployed to Afghanistan from 2012 to 2013 as part of a route clearance group where we went ahead of everybody else and searched for mines and IEDs. And during that time, I sustained some brain damage, which has led to me being 100% rated for disability from the VA. And that's why I started the my YouTube page is to help me along with my journey with smoking pipes, smoking cigars, and connecting with people online, and then hopefully connecting with people in person again.
Very nice. So, you have any dogs? What part of the country, generally speaking, do you live in? You don't sound like you're from Jersey.
No, my phone number is from Jersey though, because we lived there for a few years,
Oh, no, that's
oddly
fun.
enough. But I'm in San Antonio,
Hmm.
and I got a cat named Toby, which is why my logo is either a cat walking away from an explosion or a cat shooting a 50 cal. But he is essentially my child, and yeah.
There you go. Now, how long have you been smoking a pipe then? When did you pick this up?
I picked this up about January actually. I haven't been smoking too long, and I picked it up because I saw my dad doing it when I got moved down here after a bad PTSD spell. So I'm currently at my parents' house, and I've been very great. I've been blessed very much to have parents that have been able to let me stay here while I get back on my feet. Saw my dad piping. I was curious. He let me borrow one of his pipes, and I was hooked from there.
Had to advertise my Old Lives Matter cup. My disrespectful children bought that for me for Christmas. So only a few months. In that time, have you started to gravitate toward any particular shapes, or are you just still kind of enamored of everything?
I'm all over the place, but I know that for my personal taste, I like for just this of the standard shapes. I think billiard is going to be my favorite, but I have a very unique taste for like artisan pipes that are just crazy. And so my favorite artisan is Richard at EP Pipes.
Okay.
He currently has one that I'm commissioning from him because I bought one that you had a 7 millimeter Rem Mag stem for the bullet casing as the stem. And I was like, that is so America. And I told him I want to make the most American pipe out there. And I've just gotten a few pictures here and there, but I think I will win any contest for most American pipe.
Well, I can't wait to see it. Um, that will most definitely be fun. Well, how about that? Billiards are the classic shape, and nobody complains about billiards,
Mhm.
right? Even
Yeah.
a few years ago when Peterson was going through a bad reputation period for drilling. People still bought billiards because, well, it's hard to screw up a straight line, right? Um, yeah,
Exactly.
it is the classic shape. Now, what types of blends are you smoking? And in just a few months, what kind of variety have you gotten to experience?
I've gotten to experience so much because I, again, have been blessed by having so many people send me blends. I've been able to taste just about every major category. My favorite category in general is an English blend or a Balkan blend, and a good mellow aromatic is also good. My first arrow was vanilla custard from Sutliff, and that was pretty strong. I enjoyed it, but I
Hmm.
ruined my dad off of aromatics because of it. But English is by far my favorite, and with that, a fairly unknown brand, as I find out, is Fedborg English Mixture. And so anytime I've done a giveaway or I'm doing something where I'm exchanging tobacco, I always add 100-gram tin of Svedborg in there so other people can try to see if I'm just crazy and found this this blend that I love, but I want other people to try it as well.
Now, that is one that that I had never heard of before I first saw it on one of your videos. Um, is that a strong Latakia, or is that or medium, or how
I
would
would
you
say
rate
it's
that?
more medium. Like, and nothing is too overpowering in it. It's a very good ratio.
Now, have you tried any of what are generally called the Lakeland blends yet?
What would be considered a Lakeland blend?
A lot of the ones from Gawith Hogarth, like Innerdale Flake, um, any of the any of the ropes or dark flakes where it says scented. Uh, you've got like a dark flake and a dark flake unscented. Well, the unscented probably still has some carryover Lakeland from being made on the same equipment, uh, but
Okay.
is not supposed to have the Lakeland essence. And that essence is a combination of things, including most notably the rose geranium, and so it's a strong floral, um, not particularly sweet tasting, not like an aromatic. Now, some of them are aromatics and they are sweet, but not all of the Lakelands are. But they have that heavy floral aroma, um, and flavor to them.
I don't believe I have then. So I guess that's something I need to check on my list. I probably have some in my tobacco box. I'd have to look because I was just getting. I had to tell. I had to say bless somebody else. I have I have an entire moving box full of tobaccos that I it will take me forever to get through, and I've got 60 jars that I have opened and sealed in, and thankfully, uh, and I've just been wanting to pay it all forward. That's why I keep doing my little giveaways,
Hmm.
and whenever I can, I want to pay it forward because I've just felt so blessed into this community. I felt that I was going to be an outcast on my intro video. I started out saying I'm probably going to be an outcast because I didn't really have a at the time I'd only watched like the Pipe Cottage and Mutton Shop. I thought I was going to be kind of just like this rugged little kid that's out there, and then immediately it was just the send. It was like, "Do you have a pipe? Yes, you're part
Yeah,
of the YTPC.
that's
Welcome in,
right.
brother."
Yep. It's a very diverse and welcoming community, at least in my experience. Yeah, I was
Hmm.
asking about the Lakelands just because one of the things I often ask more experienced pipe smokers is whether they have begun to to dedicate pipes to certain blends or types. And
Hmm.
I was going to ask you, have you started doing that already?
Not yet, but at current count, I have 22 pipes, and I have about three blends open, and but I have tend to keep my arrows and my meerschaums.
Mm.
But
Yeah, for me, I've got
that's
to.
about it for this point.
Yeah, I don't really dedicate pipes myself. I'm always curious about people who do, though. The only exceptions, I have one pipe that's dedicated to Lakelands, and that is the only pipe that ever sees a Lakeland blend, at least a strong Lakeland blend. And then I
Mhm.
do typically run any really sweet, goopy type aromatics. Only go through
Yeah.
my only go through my cobs.
Okay.
I don't run those through my briars at all. Well, the cobs absorb so much moisture that even
Uh,
wet aromatics can be tolerable. I'm just not an aromatic guy. Um,
I've started out being pretty aromatic, and then as my palate is still developing. Again, I'm only 4 months into this journey, and my palate is just still developing. Where
oh yeah,
right now it's either a yes or no kind of thing, but I'm slowly starting to be able to taste the notes associated with this.
yeah. Well, you will find your palate continually shifting. Um, yeah, I've only been at this a handful of years, and my my tastes do, at least on the edges, shift. I
Yeah.
at core I still like the same things that I liked when I started, but I know guys who said they went 20 years and didn't enjoy Virginias, and then all of a sudden they started enjoying Virginias. I Nobody can really account for how our tastes change over the years, but be assured they will. Um,
Oh yeah, 100%.
the I I also know people who have been very heavy English smokers who just one day said, you know what, I'm kind of tired of Latakia, and and they've just gone in a different direction. Um,
Mhm.
you never ever know. Um,
Yeah, and that's why well, it's not why I have so many blends, but that's why I'm glad I have so many blends. So if I get to that point where I get bored of something, I have I got the Burleys, I got my Virginias, I got my Vapors, I've got Arrows, I've I just got a
Now you
lot.
Yeah, you didn't mention codgers there. How many different codger blends have you tried?
I haven't tried any Codger blends up till now.
Ah,
I need to. I need
yes.
to, but I just haven't done it yet.
I I avoided codgers for a long time because, well, I was just being a snob, to be quite blunt about it. And then I tried Carter Hall, and it's been all I love codgers now. Carter Hall is still my favorite, which is
Mhm.
ironic to a lot of people because I like really full, strong blends, and Carter Hall is not that. It's actually
Yeah.
one of the mildest of the codger blends. For whatever reason, I like it. But yeah, you definitely need to give some of those a try because there's a reason that blends last for decades and are sold in big tubs. Um,
Yeah.
and and it was only snobbery that kept me from trying so many of those. The Prince Alberts, the Sir Walter Raleighs. There are just some fantastic things out there.
Yeah, I think I was going to when I first started out, there was a sale on Sir Walter Raleigh earlier this year on smoking pipes. And I told my dad and he was like, "Oh, you don't get that. That's like the gas station stuff." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I didn't get any. And so I guess for me it's not really, it's kind of snobbery, but at the same time, I have so many friends that are, codger smokers that
Oh,
I'm curious
and
about it as well.
And if you have to, sneak it around behind your dad's back so that he doesn't know you're smoking a gas station blend. Um, but yeah, the Captain Blacks and like the Sir Walter Raleighs and all of these that are sold in big tubs, the Grangers, Velvet.
I actually have
Um,
a tub of Granger that was gifted to me.
well, see, that's not a bad first codger because it's got a good burley flavor to it. Um,
Mhm.
and but there just is. There's a reason some of these old blends have lasted so long. They're just smokable. Um, uh,
Exactly.
but now you mentioned um, mutton chop, so that makes me ask, how did you find or get into what we generally speaking call the YTPC?
It was from my dad. He said, I'm not really going to teach you how to do this. So go on YouTube and watch every video you can find on how to pack, how to light, how to keep your pipe going, how to clean it. Because my dad works really hard all day and doesn't really have time to just teach me how to smoke a pipe. Because smoking a pipe is very uh, technical,
Can
but
be.
once you get it down, it's very easy once you know when you're supposed to pack, how tight you're supposed to pack a pipe versus, and each blend will be slightly different. And so I was just watching every YouTube video I could find. And then once I got my own equipment in, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own channel myself just to kind of focus on, because I found that smoking a pipe relaxed me, and I just wanted to see how it helped with my PTSD journey.
Sure. Um, I know there have been a number of people in our community um, who have had some direct health benefit from smoking a pipe. That that it really does, especially like you said, mentally relaxing, calming you down, helping you focus, that sort of thing. I know it does all those things for me. I imagine
Exactly.
that it could be part of a doctor ordered therapy regimen. Um, if I, epileptic seizures, for example, are sometimes um, soothed by smoking a pipe. We've got a guy in our community that does it for that very reason, or that at least got started
I'm
into it.
I'm part of that. I
Okay.
have epileptic seizures, but instead of it being part of my like motor complex and like have convulsions, it's in the memory part of my brain. So it's like my brain will replay all of my memories all at once. And it's like it's like a bad acid trip. If I've ever taken acid, it's what I imagine a bad acid trip would be, at least.
Well, we have some community members who have some experience in that regard too. Yeah, you'll have to find them on your own. I'm not going to out them, but no, that is interesting that it's helping you in that regard too. So, so was Mutton Chop then? Was he kind of your gateway channel? The how to
No,
videos?
Pipe Cottage was. Pipe
Okay.
Cottage is my gateway. I just love Dr. Harrison, just the way he speaks, and it was just like I really want to meet that dude and just sit down and have a conversation with him.
I think that would be interesting. Um, Alan is certainly an outspoken individual, um,
Mhm.
and and a very very southern one. I live in North Carolina, and so for people who think that his accent is fake, it's not.
No,
I hear
it's
that
not.
I hear that from here to Atlanta, all over the place. So, but yeah, he's interesting. No, I was just curious about mutton chop because for a lot of us, the real entry point for finding other channels wound up being starting off with Mutton Chops how to videos.
Hmm.
And I know that saved my early piping. Um,
Yeah,
even though I don't still do everything the way he teaches it. Um, that got me
yeah,
going in exploring my own direction. You know,
exactly. Like I started out with the fundamentals, and then I put my own experience of how this pipe smokes with this blend, and just through trial and error, because sometimes that three different style of packing method just doesn't work for some pipes.
right?
And I just learned, for me, it's all about the draw. If
Mhm.
I check the draw, and if it's good, I'll pack some more in, pack it a little tighter, and then once I feel any resistance on the draw, that's when I know, okay, no more, like no more packing it down. If there's still room left in the bowl, I'll fill it, but I won't pack it down anymore.
Yep, you're on the right track right there. Uh, uh, Everybody's way of doing it is different, but draw is that is the key. Uh, we've got one of our community members who's one of his taglines is that it's better to pack too loose than to pack too tight. Um,
Hmm.
and I, I would rather try to pack just right, but yeah, it's easier to tamp later and
Oh
tighten
yeah.
things up. Now, the exception to that, have you smoked any true shags yet?
No, I haven't smoked any shag. Actually, I haven't smoked one shag, I think. It was a sample sent to me. I can't remember what the name of it was, but I could just tell it was really, really thin strips.
Yeah,
And
shag is really a cigarette cut. Um,
yeah,
it's so fine, and that you have to pack pretty tight. Because if you don't, you'll be done with a bowl full so fast it'll burn so hot and quick. That you have to pack tight,
okay.
and depending on how you prepare them, flakes and plugs, coins, you want to pack looser because they tend to expand more. And everything else in between, uh, yeah, it just much easier. But but draw there is key. Now, it may be obvious to everyone, maybe it's not. How did you get your channel name?
Well, we got the channel name because my my MOS in the Army was 12 Bravo, and we were called sappers. And it dates back to the colonial days with trench warfare. You would dig trenches called saps that were zigzag trenches. So that way, if you just dug a trench directly towards your enemy, they can shoot down the whole length of it. But if you dug zigzags, they you can't just mow down an entire group of people. And the people who dug them were dubbed sappers. And my MOS were took on that name of being a combat engineer. And so I just took sapper, and I was like, pipes, sapper piper.
Well, and your logos indicate that you like things that go boom.
Oh yeah. Half our job is building, half of our job is destroying.
Well, understanding how things are built definitely teaches you how to take them down. Um,
Oh
that
yeah. With I think it's our three core tenets, if I can remember, I've been out for a while, is making sure friendlies can move and making sure enemies cannot move.
There you go. There you go. So outside of pipe smoking, what are some of your other interests or hobbies?
I do a lot of video games with some friends that I play online, where that I've played with online for give or take 12 years now. We've held a friendship of just playing some games online on computer. I do a lot of VR flight combat flight sims. Like I play DCS. If anyone's really, I mean, the age group that we're talking to probably remembers the Aces High commercials on Discovery Wings channel. If you're a World War II nut like me, and then I just enjoy watching some YouTube, watching all the other channels, seeing what people are smoking, and just checking in on everybody because I consider the YTPC my family online.
Well, I was going to ask you as well then, what as a new member of the presenting side and a relatively new pipe smoker, what's your favorite thing about the YTPC? What drew you here? What keeps you here?
What drew me here was just the kind of how cool it was. And what's keeping me here is the bonds and the friendships that I've made around myself and the Discord and the Facebook page that I manage. I manage a Facebook page for Team Freedom and my own personal Discord just for anybody to join. That I made it initially for people who don't have pipe clubs, whether it be their closest club is too far away or for whatever reason. Every Sunday we meet for 2 to 3 hours on Discord, and we just have a pipe club meeting basically, just virtually.
Well, I tell you what, um, when we're done here, I'll ask you. I'll remind you to shoot me the URLs for the Facebook page and your Discord, and make sure that those go in the bucket down below so that people can connect with you there in that in those two venues.
Yep, everybody's welcome. For the Discord, everybody just if you feel like if you don't have a group, now you do. We share pictures of our pipes, we share pictures of our tobaccos, what we're smoking now, and if anybody finds any deals, just and basically, if you have a recommendation for a channel that we don't already have, just tell me and I'll add it. It's as simple as that.
All righty. Okay. Winding down, I'm going to go in a completely different direction. You mentioned that you live in
Okay.
the San Antonio area. What's the best thing and the worst thing about living in that area?
I think the best thing is because my parents live in the hill country to like the northeast.
Okay.
I mean, I could turn this camera around and just show you the absolute beauty of this forest that is their backyard. And just, it's a beautiful part. The downside is it's all being torn down for houses to be put in.
Mm.
But luckily, my parents got a decent chunk of area that's gonna be there. But and then the downside is everything is so far away.
Mm.
Everything's give or take a 20-minute drive minimum.
Oh, 20 minutes isn't so bad. It's about 30 for me. I, I live out in the boonies in north central North Carolina. So yeah, Raleigh and Durham are both about 30 minutes for me. And
I used to live in Raleigh as well. When
mm,
I basically went from Houston, Raleigh, New Jersey, back to Houston. Then I lived in Lubbock, Texas for a while, and then San Antonio now.
nice. So you've been all over. We are definitely a mobile society. Um,
Yes.
in your last question, well, next to last question for you.
Okay.
In your area, what's the one non-obvious thing that everybody should see if they were to visit your area? You know, the Alamo would be, say, the obvious one. What? Yeah, right. I mean, that's what everybody thinks
Yeah.
of when you think San Antonio. So, What's
Yeah, you
what's
got
one thing that people wouldn't think of that they really should see?
not necessarily see, but experience. I would say Six Flags over Texas. If
Mm,
you're a big like amusement park fan, the Alamo actually has been rated by a lot of websites as the worst tourist trap ever. But it's for a Texan like me, it's part of our heritage.
right.
For someone else, they may be like psyched up that the Alamo is there, and then they walk in and they're expanding it. They've expanded the area for more memorial and kind of stuff about the Alamo. But it's
Yeah.
something you got to see at least once in your life, like the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. When my wife and I took our kids through San Antonio on one of our trips back to Phoenix when we lived in the Phoenix area, we did the river walk and the Alamo. And yes, it's very much a tourist trap now, but like you said, it's one of those archetypal pieces of Texas history that that you really should see at least once. Um, it
Exactly.
it is it's very interesting there. Okay, so now my true last question, and
Shoot.
a little bit of putting you on the spot. Do you have any parting words or thoughts for our YTPC online pipe community?
My parting words or thoughts are: if you're a commenter and you feel like becoming a presenter, go for it. Like being a presenter is so much fun, and don't let anything hold you back from being who you want to be. Or if you want to say commenter, that's fine. But I know a lot of people that were commenters and then I kind of pushed them a little bit, and now they're presenting just along the lines as everyone else. Don't be afraid to be you in front of random people on the internet.
Well, with that, folks, I hope you've enjoyed our chat. I know I certainly have. And I'll tell you what I tell you every time, like something that you like. Enjoy your afternoon.